right, guys. So what we are looking at here is some exclusive E3 2018 gameplay that I was able to get from the Bandai press area or press booth, whatever you want to call it. I spent the last couple days recording extensively in detail with my homie Vocal Pineapple. Some of you guys might know him as the My Hero King. So, we really kind of dug into the game. We were testing out all the characters' ultimates, how some of the movesets work, a lot of different things. And I do have to say, a lot of the kind of pre-gameplay screenshots and stuff we got, I did notice that, the game looked very, stiff or maybe kind of slow. Maybe I would even use the word plodding. But actually, after getting my hands on the game, playing it myself, I would have to say that it is very fun. And I don't really think it's quite so stiff or slow like I did originally think it was going to be. Another thing, too, I really love about this game, as you guys can see, the comic book type effects that pop up all over. The boom, the pow, the bang, just straight from Western American comic books, Batman or something. You see all these sort of comic type phrases just sort of pop up all over the place. And I think the game does look very good as well. A lot of the effects, a lot of the quirks, it's very colorful, very pretty, I think, which is an important kind of detail for anime games. The better an anime game looks, I think kind of the more hype it will bring towards that game in particular. It might make it more successful, make it more fun for fans. Look at stuff like Naruto Storm 4, right? The spectacle, the dazzle of the effects and how a lot of the ultimates look. I think My Hero can kind of be like that as well. Another thing, too, I think is very good about this game is a lot of the small attention to details that is paid for a lot of these characters, right? When Bako dashes, for example, he'll put his hands out behind him and use kind of his explosions to propel him forward, which is something we saw him do in the manga and the anime. I think that those type of small details will really... Oh, okay. So we got a clash right here. Right. So these clashes, we had kind of, tested it out quite a bit, trying to figure out exactly how to do these clashes. These almost like a Dragon Ball game type clash, right? And I think it was after this gameplay session a little later on, we're actually able to figure out how to get it to happen frequently. The first time we ever saw it, it was really funny because it kind of glitched out. And I think it was Bakugo versus All Might that we were doing it with. And All Might kind of ended up just suspended in midair. It was very, very interesting. Also, notice that when Deku, he activates his super and he kind of goes into his full cowl mode. He was glowing green, he had his full cowl activated, and he was a lot faster and did more damage in that mode. So Deku will kind of do a super, and then that mode will become active, and he does become a serious problem when he's like that. Deku was actually one of my favorite characters from the build that we were playing. Absolutely. Of all the different characters, I really had a good time with Bakugo. I like Deku, and I did definitely like Shigaraki as well. It was just... Those characters were very quick, very agile, very smooth. And again, getting back to the thing, I think... Notice how after Deku, uses one of his ultimates, his outfit was ripped off of his arm. That's what I was talking about before, where they're paying attention to a lot of the smaller details, which will definitely make the game better in the long run. Having all these little, nods to the manga or the anime will definitely bring up everyone's hype for a lot more. So now we're going to get into a match of Stain versus Todoroki here. Now, Todoroki seems like one of the better characters in the game to me, because Todoroki has a very, very nasty ability of being able to freeze. That really, really fucks people up. It makes it so you can't really recklessly or carelessly dash towards Todoroki. He has a hard counter, a hard ability to kind of prevent people from acting very foolish and acting aggressively. We'll see that's going to happen here in this match. All right, so I was using Stain here Now, Stain was definitely a character that I was having a little bit of trouble getting used to. The game definitely is a little more technical than I think a lot of us were figuring that it was going to be. Like, there is a way you can kind of maneuver a lot of abilities and a lot of techniques in a way where you can kind of get like these combos off. And I certainly was having a little bit of difficulty here with Stain actually getting these abilities to occur. But like Stain does have, there's an ability he has where he'll throw a dagger, and it does activate at some point here where he then is able to kind of like quick move, quick step. Like I guess you could almost call it a teleport, but you do see him like quickly dash over. An ability that he has that's very useful. Yep, right there. That is very useful. I think that might be a tilt. Kind of like in Naruto Storm 4. So that's going to be something that is very, very useful. Now here, when you finish off an enemy with a super, you get the plus ultra finish, which obviously we all love, you know, plus ultra! Good shit, good shit, good shit. All right. So going on to the second round here. Again, one of the reasons I think Todoroki is going to be a big problem is that right there. Like that ice, the AoE for it seems like quite wide, and you get frozen, and then Todoroki is just able to go to town and put in work on you. He has his ice slide. There's clearly a lot of love that they gave to Todoroki in this game. Now Stain, I think he has a couple of interesting abilities in terms of like, you know, his fast, like rapid slashes, a lot of the daggers and stuff, but it is quite difficult to kind of get a lot of these to maneuver together. Now, as you guys can see, one of the big things here in this game is like the stage destruction does get massive, right? Like this stage right here, this is kind of just like an alleyway. There's not like as much to destroy, but you could fight inside like Gran Torino's apartment. That's a stage, right? And then there's also a stage inside of the UA high school, and like, you know, destroying the chairs, desks, like the building, like you kind of, it does at a point get like very floaty as well. So like you can basically be having like Dragon Ball Z battles like floating up high in the sky, and like it just creates like kind of like this spectacle, right? Where like shit just gets crazy. There's explosions, comic book effects, you're like floating way up high in the sky, all types of wildness takes place. So I do think once this game officially drops, it's going to be a lot of fun for people, and I think a lot of people are going to actually enjoy it. So now we're going to move on to the third match here. This is going to be a match between Shigaraki and Dabi. Now this is interesting. This is what we all came here to see. During this match, we discovered something very interesting about Shigaraki, an ability that Shigaraki has that definitely appears to be unique to him, and none of the other characters in at least this build of the game have anything like this. Another thing I also want to note, Dabi, right? His neck. When I saw screenshots from Bandai a few weeks ago, this motherfucker Dabi had the longest neck this side of the circus you've ever seen. But now, in-game, they actually have toned it down to be a little bit more accurate to his character, I feel. Also, both Shigaraki and Dabi, they're in kind of their initial outfits. Later on in the series, both of them kind of adopt like a coat, like a trench coat or like a long type coat, you know, very swaggy type look to them. I certainly do hope that these characters will be able to, like, you know, use that look where they've got the coats on. That would be a little better, I'd feel, because like Dabi literally is just looking like, you know, fucking Frankenstein right here, or a zombie. Like, it's crazy. Now here's where Dabi can be a real problem. He could put out those flames, and it certainly would make it very difficult to kind of dash in on him. You know, he's going to be able to really, really control shit. And then Shigaraki has very violent techniques, as you guys can see, and boom, here we go. So now we begin. So this move activated, and we're like, whoa, 3, okay. So wanted to try doing that move again. Boom, we get it. Now it goes down to 2. And it's like, well, wait a minute. What's going to happen once this counter gets down to 0? So there it is at 1. Boom, here we go. Dead. Shigaraki has an instant KO technique. This is wild. So In order to activate this, this appears again to be like Naruto Storm, right? You have like tilt, like you kind of like will press forward on the analog stick. You give it a brief pause and then you press circle. That appears to be how Shigaraki will activate this instant kill technique. Now, I don't think it's going to be broken to the ability that it's going to impede the game or fuck the game up in any way. Like, it's kind of practical to get it off, but at the same time, like, if you're in, like, an actual competitive match, by the time you would get the fourth attack to go through, you know, there wouldn't at that point be a lot of health left to where, like, the instant kill, I think, is saving you like that much time or that much damage, right? So while it's a nice little touch for this character to have it, I don't think it's game breaking. I don't think it's anything that's going to be broken or needs to be nerfed. You know, I don't think, like, if there's any My Hero tournaments, I certainly don't think Shigaraki will be, you know, banned or anything like that. It's just kind of like almost like a little Easter egg he's got, you know, with his ability Decay. And as you guys can see, like, a lot of his techniques do involve around him sort of like grabbing opponents, tossing them around, like, you know, getting like when you use the term like putting the hands on them, like Shigaraki is literally, he is just trying to put his hands on you. So all right guys, at this point we are pretty much wrapping up the footage here. Again, shout outs to my boy Vocal Pineapple, Afro Senju, Papa Berto, Anime Analyst, all the homies in the Cuba, Rhyme Style, everyone. Shout outs to everyone. Shout outs to Bandai for the opportunity to get the footage. Thanks guys for watching, and I will also be putting out some Jump Force gameplay sometime soon. So again, last time, thanks for watching guys, and I will catch y'all fuckers later.